Fear rarely announces itself loudly. It doesn't always look dramatic. Most of the time, fear disguises itself as caution, overthinking, hesitation, or waiting for the right moment. But when fear begins shaping your decisions more than faith does, it quietly becomes your master. And Scripture makes something clear. Fear and faith cannot lead at the same time. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. That means fear does not originate from God. Discernment does. Wisdom does. Conviction does. Paralyzing fear does not. If fear is consistently stopping you from obedience, growth, or boldness, you need to recognize it for what it is. Fear keeps people silent when they should speak. It keeps them comfortable when they should step out. It keeps them stuck when God is calling them forward. Fear doesn't always scream. It whispers. It says, "What if you fail? What if they judge you? What if you're not ready?" And slowly, those whispers shape your obedience. Instead of asking, "What is God asking me to do?" you start asking, "What feels safest?" Proverbs 29:25 says, "The fear of man lays a snare. A snare is a trap." Fear traps your potential. It traps your calling. It traps your growth. When you prioritize the opinions of people over obedience to God, fear wins. And when fear wins long enough, faith weakens. The disciples faced this repeatedly. In Matthew 14, when Peter stepped out onto the water, he walked until fear shifted his focus. The moment he focused on the wind instead of Christ, he began to sink. The storm didn't change. The water didn't change. His focus did. Fear redirects focus away from God's power and onto your limitations. Fear also disguises itself as waiting on God. There are seasons of patience, yes, but sometimes waiting is really avoidance. You know what God has asked you to confront. You know what obedience requires, but fear keeps pushing it off. Delayed obedience is often fear in disguise. 1 John 4:18 says, "Perfect love casts out fear." That doesn't mean fear disappears instantly. It means when you understand God's character, His sovereignty, His faithfulness, His control, fear loses authority. The more rooted you are in who God is, the less control fear has over you. Fear shrinks your prayers. It shrinks your boldness. It shrinks your calling. But faith expands obedience. Faith says, "Even if I don't see the outcome, I trust the one who sent me." Faith doesn't eliminate risk. It trusts God inside it. The truth is, everyone feels fear. The difference is who you let lead. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is obedience in spite of it. When Joshua was called to lead Israel, God didn't tell him he wouldn't feel afraid. He told him, "Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you." Joshua 1:9. Presence is the antidote to fear. Not certainty, presence. If fear has been quietly steering your decisions, it's time to confront it. Ask yourself honestly, have I avoided obedience because of fear? Have I stayed silent because of fear? Have I chosen comfort because of fear? Faith grows when obedience moves forward, even when fear is present. You don't defeat fear by waiting for it to disappear. You defeat it by stepping forward anyway. Fear will always offer safety. Faith will always offer growth. Choose your leader. This is ZeroedIn devotion. Sharpen your faith. Strengthen your walk. Stay devoted.